The paranormal is a mysterious phenomenon that many people claim to experience in their lifetime, and I consider myself one of them. Hey, I'm TobyPasta. Thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, I make all sorts of videos based around the horror subject, with all the spooks and laughs you can ask for. If you'd like to see more, then feel free to subscribe so you don't miss anything. I had multiple experiences with I consider as the paranormal. These were quite strange to me, but I am open to the idea that these could have been anything out of the ordinary. I thought I'd share these with you. I can ask what your thoughts on these experiences were. What do you think? Were these just normal experiences, or could the paranormal play a big part in this? Let's talk about them, shall we? So my first experience happened when I was little. I was brushing my teeth and getting ready for the day. That's until I noticed something in the corner of my eye. I moved my head to the right to see a shadowy figure. But as soon as I turned my head, that shadowy figure already ran down the hallway. I couldn't even get a good description of it because it just happened so fast. I was a bit scared, but honestly I never really thought anything of it until now. Strange, right? This experience reminds me of those shadow people, but that topic is for another day. Another experience of mine occurred a few years later when I went on vacation. We were visiting Bar Harbor, Maine. It's a beautiful place, definitely a vacation spot if you're looking for one. We rented somebody's summer house for a couple of nights. One night, as everyone was sound asleep, I woke up in the middle of the night to see myself in a kneeling position. Confused, I looked up to see a shadowy figure of a little girl in front of me. I couldn't move! This left me confused and frightened, but after a sudden moment, I was able to regain my control and quickly ran into bed with my parents. I remember having vivid nightmares about that. Makes me wonder sometimes what that could have been. My third experience with the paranormal was quite a strange one. I was in bed, trying to fall asleep, but all of a sudden, I hear a faint noise coming from my house's kitchen. These voices didn't sound like anyone I know. It was a deep voice of a man, but a high-pitched voice of a woman. I know that's quite vague, but let me explain. I was scared because everyone was asleep, and the television set wasn't even on. But I stayed up for a good portion of the night because I was scared. It could have been anything, but I just didn't recognize those voices, which led me to wonder where they came from. This next experience is one that possibly many people have experienced. I was spending time with my friends one weekend. We used to film silly videos on my camcorder. Well, I left my camcorder to charge before filming because the battery was almost dead. But when it was all set, I pulled out the camera and started to film. Note that the battery was fully charged at this point. We did our usual thing and we laughed at the little films that we were making. But then suddenly, my camcorder died. I was upset because my camcorder just finished charging, but then I realized that we were probably not alone. I somewhat recall my friend telling me that this basement was possibly haunted, but I wasn't sure if he was serious or not. You know how friends can be. They can try to scare their friends, so I originally just shrugged it off. But now I believe that the paranormal occurrence could have happened, and they tried to use my battery's power to make an apparition. What do you think? The paranormal, or just a coincidence? My last experience was quite recent. It actually happened a few months ago. I was finishing up work and waiting to punch out. What I usually do is sit down and wait a few minutes until the clock strikes to when I have to punch out. So I spent some time on my phone and usually check my messages and my Twitter notifications. During this break is when I see something weird, something white, fly by in the corner of my eye on a picture frame. It looks similar to an orb. The weirdest thing is that this frame wasn't glossy, so you couldn't see yourself right through it. My theory with this one is that it could have been dust, but plenty of people told me where I work is haunted, so maybe it's a ghost. So, those were my experiences with the paranormal. I'd love to hear what you thought of these. Also, I'd love to hear any of your experiences, if you had any. Finally, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, then don't forget to subscribe. I'm TobyPasta. Have a wonderful day. Stay spooky. Bye.